Okay, thank you very much. And I don't have strawberries with me. So let's talk again about problems. So many speakers have spoken about problems today, very serious problems. And I also would like to talk with you about serious problems, but let's start with problems we have everyday problems. Maybe you don't have problems, I have problems. Problems with money, or problems with my being in time, or problems with my partner, or problems with people not doing what I want them to do. So maybe you know some kind of these problems. And problems means I can't do what I want, or I don't know how to do what I want. So I don't have a control over the situation. I would like to change something, or I would like to have things changed, but I can't, or I don't know how. And I'm speaking as a social worker, and as a social worker we have a lot to do with problems. Sissy named drug addiction, for example. I work with drug consumers also. And I think the ideas we have as social workers, how to handle problems, might be useful also for you as laymen, as for normal people, normal citizens. So the idea is if we take problems, take a different view on problems, maybe we can find better options what to do, how to change, how to make change possible. So first of all, I would like to mention that we in general life, we have some assumptions about problems, which we take for granted or which we take for true. First of all, as problems exist. We believe there are problems, and they are real problems, and they really exist, and we really have them. Second, we think we have to understand them before we solve them. We have to understand why things, how they are, how they come, the history, all about the problem we have to know to be able to solve it. And a third assumption is that we think problems should be solved. So we think it's necessary to solve problems, otherwise they are still existent. So to give you a different perspective on that. I don't say it's a wrong view or it's not true, but I would say we can take a different perspective on problems. First of all, I would say problems don't have to be solved. If you remember your problems, most of your problems, I would assume, weren't solved by you, but you forgot that you had these problems, or they were replaced by different problems, or they were replaced by different solutions, or they were replaced by something completely different. You forgot them, they vanished, you don't know how. So second assumption, we have to understand why things, how they are. And I would like to demonstrate a little bit. And I need your help, I need your answers now. So, why does this ball fall down? Gravity, wonderful, thank you very much. We are in a university, and the first answer has to be gravity, that's right. Why does this ball fall down? I left it drop, yes, thank you very much. Why does this ball fall down? Yeah, I didn't catch it, wonderful, thank you very much. Why did this ball fall down? Because I opened my hand. Why did this ball fall down? Because I wanted to show you something. Why did this ball fall down? Because my brain sent some signals to my fingers. Okay, many answers. Which one is true? Which one is right? All of them, wonderful, okay. You know, when my son was 5 years old, and he had a tray with dishes to bring it to the kitchen, and he fell, and everything fell down. Until today, I regret that I didn't say, oh, gravity. Yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize to him, but I forget. Next time I will do. So this is an explanation. So if we have so many answers to this simple question, why does this ball fall down? So many answers, and they are all right in a way, but we can't use them, every one of them, in every situation. So in university, you should answer gravity, and not because you open your fingers. It's useless in physics. So we have to differentiate. Same thing with the description. So what is happening right now? The ball is falling down. Right. What is happening right now? Yeah, thanks. What's happening right now? I made the ball fall. What's happening right now? You are watching me, okay? So which answer is right? We can have different descriptions and we can have different explanations. So what about real problems? And as a social worker, I had a situation where a father came to me, and now I want to show you, if I don't have the idea there's a real problem, and I have to find out what the real problem is, and it really exists, but if I'm able to take it not so serious, take in account that there are different descriptions, and with each description of a problem, also the problem changes, of course. So the father comes and says, I have a problem. And yeah, by the way, I say, where do you have it? So he smiles a little bit, and I ask, what's your problem? And he says, my problem is that my son, that I have very difficult problems with my son. Okay, I say, thank you. So what's the problem? I ask him. So he says, you know, my son doesn't go to school. So I say, okay. And so what's the problem? And he says, you know, I'm arguing with him a very lot. So we have a lot of fights and struggles, and we don't like each other since very long time, many months already. So I say, so what's the problem? And not to make him angry, but just to talk with him about different perspectives. And he says, you know, the problem is I'm now also arguing with my wife because she doesn't agree how I behave towards my son. Okay, I say, I understand. So what's the problem? So he says, you know, my wife said already, maybe I'll leave you because you are a bad father. Okay, I understand. So now I have the idea, and this is the third assumption, that problems don't exist. I don't know what the real problem is. I think we say I have a problem, but it's not like I have a ball, you know. A problem, I have never seen a problem actually. I have only seen people who are saying, I have a problem. But you can't grasp a problem, and a problem also never exists all the time. I can say I'm always not in time. I don't manage to be in time always. So that's not true. Today I've been here in time. Yeah? Or I can say I have always problems with money. That's not true. Sometimes I have no problems with money. I can say I can't sleep. Never do I sleep. So maybe that's also not completely true. So I can make a difference. So for me, problems don't exist. We have a language which takes like existing, like a thing, yeah? But actually I prefer taking problems more like clouds. They are going and they are changing constantly and they are dissolving and then they're coming back, being big clouds, changing all the time. But they are not real, I can't grasp them. And so now I ask the father, so where should we start? You named a lot of problems, a lot of aspects. you are concerned about, where should we start? And he says, maybe with my son, I'm arguing with him all the time. That's what I'm concerned most about just in a moment. So I say, okay. So when I ask him, when did you have the last time some nice moments with your son? And he says, didn't you listen to me? I told you we have always it difficult since many months. So I said, okay, sorry, I didn't understand. So may I ask you to think about, when did you have the last time a nice moment with your son? And he thinks, and he says, last Saturday. Okay. I say, how come? And he says, we watched a football game in the TV. Okay. And this was okay. We were on the same side for the same team, and we liked it. Okay, thank you, I say. So when else did you have a nice moment with your son during the last weeks? So he says, actually, during breakfast, it's okay. So I say, how come? So he says, every one of us is reading the newspaper, and so we don't have to talk with each other, and it's fine. Yeah? Okay. And I ask a third time, and ask, good. Which other situation do you remember when it's fine? And he's thinking and smiling and saying, when I'm on work at my job, I don't have problems with my son. So I say, great, thank you very much. Hard work, difficult questions, of course, and hard work. And now I could talk with him about this and then ask him, what do you think could you do to have some more nice moments with your son? Okay? And it's up to him. Maybe I have an idea. I have the idea maybe they should buy a newspaper for the dinner as well. Yeah? Or I could have the idea they should go more often to football games, maybe also in the stadium. But I'm curious about what he will tell, and maybe he has a completely different idea. So what happened during this talk with him, during this interview with him? We spoke about a thing which we thought it is a problem, but it wasn't a real thing. It was, we tried to look on different sides, and I wasn't concerned about having some real problem which we have to work on, but we tried to have different descriptions and different explanations about this situation, and we played a little bit, and suddenly he was convinced. Okay, he didn't lie on me. He believed it really, that he never has good situations with his son. Yeah? But I was sure that if I'm a little bit, maybe it's a little bit unpolite to say, so when did you have recently a good situation with your son? So maybe it's a little bit unpolite after he has said it's always bad with him. So I supposed he will find an answer. And so he could not change the whole thing, change the whole situation with his son, but he could find some small steps he could start to change things. And if we take the title of the talks today, to change a system, so I would say problems are systems. Problems are like systems. Systems don't exist either. Yeah? I've never seen a system, and if you take system theory, which I come from, is a system. A system is something an observer divides between inner and out, in and out, or takes different variables. If you take this university, we can take this university as a system. But it depends whether we see it as a system of buildings, or a system of human beings, or a system of researchers, or a system of students, or assistant of people in the administration. So we will have different descriptions of it. And we won't find the real, the true description. And if we have problems and we define them as real and true, and we say, this is the true, the one and only description of this problem, we can't change the problem. What we need is to redescribe, to deconstruct and reconstruct in a different way. And this is only possible if we don't believe in our perspective, in our way how we describe things. My favorite subject is drug addiction, or theories on drug addiction, or even better, drug consumption. And I would like to take the time to talk a little bit about that. It's a big problem, drug addiction. You know, every one of us know. Our society is convinced that this is a real problem, but it's far away from us and you, from you and me, maybe. I suppose most of you would say, I don't have any drug addiction. I don't have either, but I've worked with people taking drugs. And I would prefer take a more everyday problem, a problem I have. I have a problem, big problem with peanuts. Yeah, roasted, salted peanuts. Yeah, if you take a bowl, or if I'm at friends and they have a bowl with peanuts, so I have this, until the bowl is empty. So I can't stop. In a way, I'm addicted to peanuts, I could say. But the problem is, if I say I'm addicted to peanuts, and if I'm convinced that I'm addicted to peanuts, so I can't stop. There's no reason. Why should I stop? Because I know I'm addicted to peanuts. I have to grasp and to grasp. I can't stop. I'm convinced I can't stop. So it makes it different whether I say I'm addicted to peanuts, or if I could say to myself, it's my free will that I take peanuts. So I can decide in every second. And if you would threaten me in this moment, I would stop taking peanuts, okay? And this would also show maybe that I'm not addicted to. So if you are confused a little bit now, it's okay. Yeah? Problems, do they exist? Do they not exist? I don't know. I don't state they don't exist. But I think sometimes it's good to remember that they don't exist, so we are able to take different perspectives and not to believe what we learned and what we repeated day for day, like gravity, and we forget that's also our finger who's opening our hand. And so if you're confused, don't mind. I have to admit, I like peanuts, okay? And sometimes I still believe I'm addicted to it. Thank you very much.